Hello, welcome or welcome back. It's so good to see you today. My name is Vix and this is my channel, Goddess of Gore, where I like to talk about horror, thriller, fantasy and sci-fi books. Today I want to tell you about all of the books I want to read in September, and once again I have a theme for the month. Shall we just get on with the books then? So, here in the UK, the kids go back to school or college in the first week of September, and things seem to quieten down and the rain goes away and the sun comes back out and everything seems a little bit better. So I thought I would try and pick a few books based around some kind of school or institution of children of some kind. So, as well as the Shorty September novellas I have already talked about, and if you haven't seen that video yet, I will link it in the description box below and you can go and watch that one next if you want to. So, to begin with, we're going with a classic. And to be honest, it was the first book I thought of when I picked the theme. It is a Battle Royale by Kushin Takami. I've never read this book, but I have watched the film about 1 million times. And to be perfectly honest, I always thought this was a graphic novel, so I am very much looking forward to this. This is set in an alternate Japan who have the smart idea of picking a school class of children every year to put them forward to the programme, where in order to keep the population down since about the 1940s, I think it is, an offering is made where basically classmates are taken to a deserted island or a forest or something like that, and they have to kill each other until one final victor remains. This has become some sicko's idea of entertainment along the way. Obviously the parents are outraged when they are informed that their kids have been chosen, but I don't think the book concentrates too much on that side. It's more about the kids. So they are given weapons and tracking metal collars with the ability to explode at the push of a button. And this monitors their heart rate and where they are in the deserted island. And they are sent off to either kill each other or hide. But you know what I most like about this? The students' remaining tallies throughout it. Absolute fun. So obviously that one is about a school class, but what about a magical society? I have been wanting to read the Nevermore series for ages, so why not now? It starts with The Trials of Morrigan Crow by Jessica Townsend. This is a middle grade book. So Morrigan Crow, aged 11, is a cursed child because she was born on an unlucky day and therefore blamed for everything that has ever gone wrong in her hometown. The night before she is predicted to die though, she gets whisked away to Nevermore, a magical city which has something called a wondrous society that holds trials for people who want to become members. So kind of like Battle Royale, but for younger people. And I really want to get round to reading the latest Philip Procassi. If you've been watching my TBRs and wrap-ups for a while, you might remember that I read Saculina for the Pirate Water themed read earlier on this year. And I did talk about this book in my new Books of the Month video, which I will link in the description box as well. So this is about an orphanage for boys in Pennsylvania in the early 1900s. And one dark and stormy night, a sheriff knocks at the door with a prisoner needing some attention, a strange visitor in the middle of the night, and now all the boys living there are in danger, not by one man, because he is many, because he is Legion. Oh yes, it's gonna be so good, and if the early reviews are right, it is terrifying. I cannot wait. There is a huge list I have under this theme, but I'm probably not going to get to much more than that, to be honest. So we'll leave the themed reads there, shall we? So as well as those, I want to read a few more novellas that didn't quite fit my Shorty September prompts, but they are up for an award next month. So you'll see those dotted around in my weekly wrap-ups, as well as a dedicated prediction video for the ceremony too. Those will include a reread of What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher and Ogres by Adrian Tchaikovsky. I'm sure I've spoken about What Moves the Dead a gazillion times, so just one more time then. This is a little slow burn gothic retelling of Edgar Allan Poe's tale, The Fall of the House of Usher. It is a quiet horror that follows Alex, who travels to the Usher siblings when they get the news that Madeline is dying from some wasting illness within the fungus-ridden lawn and the disease-filled lake which surrounds the dilapidated house. And then Ogres. This sounds fantastic as well. Ogres are the heavy-handed landlords in this cruel fantasy world, and this is about what happens when one man stands up to an ogre who loves nothing more than beating up and even eating the lower classes. I don't think it's actually supposed to be as light-hearted as I just made that synopsis sound. There is no fairy tale creatures living with these ogres. Well, I don't think so anyway. Then a quick reminder before my commitment reading that I will be finishing up the reads for this spooky vlog that I am so tired of thinking about, as well as finishing up my first episode of a brand new podcast that I'm starting. Don't worry, I will inundate you with that when it's up and running. I'm seriously suffering from overload right now. And I bet you are too. So finally, my year-long reads and book club books. The Cozy Fantasy Book Club pick in the Sweater Weather Discord group is one I've been excited to reread, The Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels by India Holton. This is a really funny series of 3 books so far, and this is the first one. This is about a Victorian upper-class woman who just happens to be a thief and a member of the crime syndicate, the Wisteria Society. Her aunt has been kidnapped by a pirate and she has to go and rescue her. The Year of Gaiman book of the month is The Ocean at the End of the Lane. This is a magically terrifying, again, short story about childhood. An unnamed man returns to his childhood home for a funeral, and while he is there, he goes and sits at the edge of a lake that he once believed was the ocean, and he remembers the 11-year-old girl and why she promised to keep him safe all those years ago. The 2 books for the Around the Disc Readathon by Terry Pratchett are book 17, Interesting Times, which is a Rincewind book, and book 18, Masquerade, the 5th of the Ramtop Witches sub-series books, which means there is only one left before the end of those witches for now. In Interesting Times, we meet Two Flower and the Luggage once again, along with a whole army of other characters, literally. The Unseen University gets a request to send a wizard with 2 Zs to the Agitian Empire. Unfortunately for Rincewind, this is exactly how wizard is spelt on his wizard hat. There he gets tangled up with a war for the imperial throne, a revolution and an invasion by a barbarian horde. And in Masquerade, Nanny Ogg has written an extremely popular cookbook. Unfortunately for the publisher, they aren't giving her the credit nor the royalties, so Ogg and Weatherwax go to collect. Along the way, they have an adventure akin to something of a parody of the Phantom of the Opera, as they meet some singers all going to the Ankh-Morpork Opera House. And then finally, it is the Chapter 3 podcast read-along of the Witcher books by Andrzej Sapkowski with The Lady in the Lake. This is the penultimate book, and I cannot wait to finish this series. Honestly, year-long read-alongs seem like such a good idea in January, don't they? Before you know it, it's September and you are crying and can't wait to end it. This picks up where the Tower of the Swallows left off, with Ciri stepping into another world. I am not sure if this book centres only on Ciri and the other characters stay where we left them or not. I just know that this is an elven storyline. And then I am falling behind with my Karen Slaughters, but I should be reading Triptych this month, the first in the Will Trent series. We're now in Atlanta and there's another serial killer on the loose who likes to attack and kill women with a sign-off, a flourish, if you will, of mutilation. An unlikely bunch of characters follow along the trail of this serial killer, including an ex-con who might unwillingly hold the key to solving the crime. And that's it. That's everything I want to read, and obviously that's too many, and I won't read half of them, but I'm always ambitious, if nothing else, with my TBRs. How about you? How's your month planned out? Let me know in the comments what you're doing this month. Are you taking part in any readathons, or are you planning any year-long reading for your 2024? Have I just put you off that? Thank you so much for being here and listening to my TBR plans. As I said, let me know what yours are. I cannot wait to hear about them. If it is your first time here, I hope you have had some fun, or I gave you some inspiration for some reading plans. Maybe you'd like to stick around for a bit longer and maybe subscribe if you haven't already, or just liking the video too. I will leave you, as I always do, with a quote about the month ahead. The grass in the backfield was almost waist high, and now there was goldenrod, that late summer gossip which comes to tattle on autumn every year. But there was no autumn in the air today. The sun was still all August, although calendar August was almost 2 weeks gone. Make some good book choices this week, my friends, and I hope to see you all again soon. Until next time, bye bye.